welcome back to my channel, and if you're new, welcome to my channel. I want to say sorry about the lighting. Grayson's kind of like grumpy as shit today, hasn't really taken a good nap. This video is very last minute, filmed and posted on the same day. It is a cluster of all things going wrong. I slammed my finger in the door this morning. Grayson does not want me to even be away from him. Hopefully we can get through this video, get it up, and it's pretty good content for you guys. All I can really do is hope. And so far, it looks like this video is not going very well with this one. Can I have my glasses? Oh, you're gonna take my hat? Alrighty then. So I asked you guys on my Instagram if you guys wanted me to refilm my labor and delivery story, and a lot of you guys did want me to. When I filmed it previously, I had just had him, and I was really rushed into wanting to film it. I was so excited to film it and tell you guys that some things I probably left out and completely didn't tell you guys, and it was all over the place. So here I am today going to refilm it for y'all. Are you ready to tell them the story of how you were born? Alright, tell your side. That's my hair. Leave it alone. Leave that alone. Anyways guys, let's get right into this video. So I'm going to start off with a little bit earlier into the day. So beforehand, before my water even broke, I was currently at Walmart. I was walking around Walmart, just an average day. I had picked up a few last minute hospital things that I needed, like an outfit for going home and stuff like that. So I had just picked up a couple of those things, and I was probably there for a good hour. It was really busy there that day, so we were there for quite a good amount of time. So I went home, we're bringing everything in, and I have to pee. So I go pee, and it's just weird. I feel like I'm peeing, but when I stopped peeing, I was still peeing, if that makes sense. I know that might sound kind of weird, but it was just a trickle of water still coming out of me. So I was like, okay, maybe I'm not done peeing. And then it kept happening and happening, and it wasn't a humongous gush like a lot of people say. No. So I walked out into the living room and I said, I think my water broke. And my grandmother, being the person that she is, she's like, well, wait until your doctor's appointment later that day. And I was like, no. Like, I had a doctor's appointment later that day to go get checked. It was my due date on that day too, and it was my 40-week appointment. And she's like, well, wait until you go to the doctor's, and if they send you, then that's when you'll go. And it's like, no, my water's broke. I need to go to the hospital just in case I'm in labor. Obviously, I was. She kept telling me, no, you gotta wait, and I looked at her, I go, I'm going to the hospital. So I went down into my room. This room, it was very much differently laid out back then. And that's pretty much when it like gushed. More water was coming out, and I literally had to stand on a towel as I was trying to pack up things so my floor wasn't soaking wet from myself. So as I was packing up the last minute things, putting things that I had just gotten at Walmart into our hospital bags and just making sure that I have everything, because honestly, it was my first time being in labor. So I thought I had to rush around, get so much stuff ready and everything as fast as I possibly could. But if you're about to be a new time mom, let me just tell you this. If your water breaks and you're trying to rush to get around to go to the hospital, if nothing seems wrong with you, baby's still moving around and your water's just broken, take your time packing, because trust me, it is going to be a very long wait as you wait for your body to dilate. And me personally, I wish I stayed home for a little while and just took my time packing and stuff. But I didn't. in the mix of me trying to pack up everything, I was frantically trying to get a hold of Alan. He wasn't answering my phone calls or my text messages. He was asleep and he wasn't hearing his phone go off. So I had texted Alan's mom and said, hey, could you call this number for me and tell them that I need Alan up as soon as he possibly can. I need him around as fast as he can because I'm going into labor. And of course, Alan's mom called the number and got him awake. Alan calls me and he's like, what? And I said, I'm in labor, my water broke. I need you to get ready to go because we're going to the hospital. This is not like a false alarm like before, because if you guys don't know, I did end up going to the hospital once with false labor, contractions that weren't making me dilate or anything. What, handsome? Ow, it's my hair. But yes, but this time I told him, I was like, it's completely full on. My water broke everything, so there's no going home at this point. So I finished packing. I grabbed a bunch of towels to sit on in the car because I would have felt so bad getting amniotic fluid all over my mom's car. So we went and picked up Alan and then we went over to the hospital. We went into the emergency room section and I signed in and all of that. Literally standing there waiting for them to come get me, which is like half an hour later. I'm sitting in the ER with water trickling down me. Still water breaking, because if you didn't know, your water continuously breaks while you're in labor. I don't think my water stopped breaking up until the point I had him. Fun. But as I was sitting there, I did start feeling contractions to start. They weren't super duper bad. Like they were, I like barely felt them, but they were there. I did text my friend Lizzie and told her and praise to her. She was literally dressed and in the car to the hospital in 5 minutes. Joey drove her down everything, and let me tell you, this was before I even knew Joey, like really knew him. But yeah, she came down and she literally sat in the waiting room for 11 hours. Praise to her. Thank you, best friend. Love you lots. So yes, when they finally did come and get me from the emergency room waiting room, I was in a wheelchair and they took me all the way up to labor and delivery section. I had the same room that I was in when I went in for false labor, so that was kind of nice. I was familiar with the room already and I didn't really have to get used to the surroundings. I got into the gown. I told them I refused to take my bra off because my bra was a nursing bra. Wasn't going to cause any problems after he was born if he wanted to eat or anything. So, and honestly, it was just helping me feel comfortable. I don't know. They hooked me up to everything, checked me, and just basically did confirm that my water did break and everything like that. So then from there, it was basically a waiting game. My doctor did come in. They basically had asked me if I even called my doctor, and I said, no, I never called her. I just came in because my water broke. So they called her, she came over, came in, all of that fun stuff. And she told me that I'm allowed to eat all I want during my labor and delivery. She said, whatever you eat is up to you. She did give me suggestions on not eating a whole lot because there's a lot of pressure going on in my stomach, so my stomach might not agree with it and everything like that. So I was one of the very lucky people that are actually allowed to eat during my delivery of having a baby. I know a lot of people don't get that luxury. They're only allowed to eat ice chips and drink water, which I am so sorry if you are one of those people. That must really, really suck having to go through that. But even then, when I was allowed to eat, I ordered food, but I didn't really eat it. I wasn't feeling it. And not only that, I will get into another reason why here soon. So I'll get into it now, pretty much. So basically, after I had ordered my food, they came in and they got me running on fluids to keep me hydrated through the entire process. my body had a very bad reaction to that. So if you guys don't know, this is the first time I've actually ever been like hooked up to any fluids or IVs for a long time ever. So my body had a really bad reaction because they had the fluids up on high to make sure that I was getting enough fluids as I needed and all of that. So my body just had a really bad reaction. I felt like there was water in my chest and it was really hard to breathe. If I breathed in deeply, I felt like there was water suffocating me. It was just a really weird feeling. So they stopped giving me fluids for like a couple of hours, and then they started to back up on a lower like run through and then increased it slowly so my body would get used to it, which then it worked. I don't know why they didn't do that from the beginning. Who knows? But after that, I did eat a little bit. I probably only ate about maybe one mozzarella stick that I had. Everything else on there I just did not have an appetite for. I mainly just drank stuff. A little bit later on, I did ask for some pain medicine, like actual Tylenol and stuff, which they could only give me in, what baby? They could only give me in tablets. And if you guys also don't know, I don't know how to swallow pills. Well, I do know how to swallow pills. I just have a very bad gag reflex, so swallowing pills alone with just water is not something that I can do. I have to take them with applesauce or crush them up, which I hate crushing them up because they're so terrible tasting in the food. So I had to take it with applesauce. What? Why are you up my butt? So yeah, I took that and it helped a little bit. I slept on and off a little bit here and there. Alan slept a lot during my labor. A little while late, it was like 11 hours later, like I said, Lizzie was in the waiting room for 11 hours. I texted her and told her, hey, you might as well go home at this point. I'm not dilating very fast. I was only dilated to 1 centimeter after 11 hours. They did have me get up and walk and stuff, and they put me on Pitocin after I walked to see if the walking helped first, which it didn't really help. My body just was very stubborn with dilating, and eventually they did put me on Pitocin. They put me on the highest dosage of Pitocin to try to get things moving faster. And even then, things did progress, but definitely not at the speed that they thought that it would work. I did take a shower during my labor process to help with pain, which let me tell you guys, if you guys are able to take a shower while you're in labor, take as many damn showers and many long showers as you want. Because trust me, that warm water helps. I so wish I could have had a water birth because water just naturally helps soothe pain. It's a natural pain soother, and it also can take pressure off of the weight of your belly that you're feeling. So I really wish I could have a water birth, but you know, can't always get what I want. You're very cuddly today. I don't know why. So nothing really exciting happened in between the time that I was 1 centimeter dilated up until I was getting closer and closer. I think I was like 5 centimeters and I was 5 centimeters dilated when I did get the epidural. The anesthesiologist came in, and at this point my contractions were really bad. My suggestion to you, my biggest suggestion, is if you do plan to get the epidural while you are in labor, do it beforehand. Ask for the epidural before your contractions get very bad. So when you feel like your contractions are starting to get pretty painful and soon they're going to start getting extremely unbearable, that's when you need to ask the anesthesiologist to be called and have them get ready for your epidural. Because let me tell you, that epidural takes quite some time for them to actually get down there and get it into you. And by the time that he came down and stuff and gave me it, I was definitely ready for it, and it was right there. If I had ordered it then, I would have been in so much pain for longer than what I needed to be. So definitely, if you plan to order an epidural, order it early when you feel like you're going to start getting into a worse situation than what you can bear. And I'm glad that I did that, let me tell you. I did have a contraction during my epidural, but basically the epidural didn't really hurt. I never felt the needle going in. The only part that I felt was the small stinging sensation of them putting the fluid and stuff into me at first, and then after that it was completely over with. I can insert a picture right here of what my back looked like with the epidural. Alan took that picture, and Alan hated seeing me in pain when I was having that done. But it wasn't even really the pain of the epidural of it getting done. It was just me having pain from contractions. But I can definitely tell you guys this. He did not like me being in pain at all. But after I got the epidural, things started to feel so much better. I actually got a little bit of sleep, but not too much. I mainly was just too excited to actually sleep, which sounds really weird, but I was actually too excited to sleep to see my baby boy, so I mainly just sat there on my phone as much as I could. Alan was on and off of his phone, sleeping, and on the laptop watching Netflix, because I did bring my laptop to watch Netflix and stuff on with him. I'm pretty sure my mom at that point had left to go home to go do a few things, so it was just me and Alan hanging out, and it was nice. Alan would leave to go outside for a little bit and just take a break, and yeah, but for the most part, all me. So we're gonna fast forward. I was 9 centimeters dilated when I started feeling the really bad pressure of wanting to push. So at this point, I told them I don't think I can hold back anymore. I need to start pushing, and I think he's ready to come out. I'm gonna backtrack a little bit too. So back when I was not even very much dilated, like 4 to 5 centimeters dilated, they told me whenever they checked me that they could feel his head, which I don't know if that's weird or not, but I think normally they don't feel the head when they check you until you're really close to pushing. So he was honestly coming a lot faster than what my body was prepared for him to come. So at 9 centimeters, I had to be stretched to 10 centimeters, and yeah, there was also a point in my labor where a doctor came in, or technically a surgeon came in and said we should probably prep her for a C-section and start thinking about a C-section, because they weren't entirely sure if my body was going to keep up with the rate that he was coming. So thank God that he held out a little bit longer. What? Are you still sleepy? My sleepy chalupa. But I'm so glad that he waited. But at 9 centimeters, they did stretch me, and I started pushing. Pushing was the worst thing that I ever experienced. Contractions weren't even as bad as the pushing, and the epidural definitely did not help me at all. They even had to come in and give me an extra like set of epidural, kind of like dosage of it, to try to help with the pain, but I just had so much pressure that the epidural did not do anything for me. So I was in a lot of pain when I was pushing, and I want to say this, it is completely different for everybody. Some people can get the epidural, not feel anything while they're pushing, and let me tell you, you are some lucky people, because I felt pretty much all of it. Obviously, I probably would have felt more of the pain if I didn't have the epidural at all, but I still felt quite a bit of it. He's so sleepy. Are you sleepy? You tired? I was in labor for 26 hours, 26 plus hours, and I was pushing for 30 minutes to get him out until he finally came. While I was pushing, they would see his head descend down more, and then when I would stop pushing, he would what? When I would stop pushing, his head would go back up, and it was mainly that was making it so painful, was because it was like a game of hide and seek, or peekaboo in other terms too. He just was having a really hard time coming down, so it was very, very painful. Play with this. So finally, after 30 something minutes of pushing, he was finally here, and I was so happy. Alan was so happy that he was here, and that's that. After I did have him, they waited until the epidural wore off of me, which did not take very long, probably like an hour or so. We cuddled with our little baby for all that time. Then we took showers, which, let me tell you guys, that first shower after giving birth is heaven. Yes, you're bleeding like fucking nothing, like Niagara Falls of blood, but that shower makes you feel so good after having a baby. You just feel so not yucky anymore. They did give Grayson a bath right after he was born too, like after we took our showers. Grayson was given a sponge bath, and they showed us how to bathe him and everything. And then we went over to the maternity ward, because we don't stay in labor delivery as we're recovering. We go into a maternity ward where we have our own rooms, which is nice. Our room was small. It was good sized for us. Alan had a bed, a chair bed. It pulled out into like a little bed that was right next to my bed, and Grayson had his own little like bassinet, I guess you could say, that they put him in. And that was at the end of my bed. I could obviously pull him over wherever I wanted him to be set, which I kind of wish that I had just pulled him right next to me and was able to stay in bed. But we visited with Alan's mom, my grandma, and my mom obviously was in there, but there was a few other people I think we visited. It's kind of like a big blur to me at some points. I also want to tell you guys that if you guys are afraid of all the pain to go through labor, just remember this: as soon as you have your baby, you don't remember that pain. I don't even really remember any of the pain that I felt while giving birth to him at all. So you'll never remember that pain, and the pain is honestly completely worth it in the end. We were in the hospital in the maternity ward for one full day. The time that we went in after having him, it was like 9:30 at night, and then when we left on a Friday, it was like 12 o'clock in the afternoon when we left. So we were only in there for one whole day, and then half of days in the maternity area. People did come and visit us throughout those days. I didn't have a problem with really any nurses. There was only one person. There was one nurse at the very end on the last, like when we were getting ready to be released on that day. She really just wanted to get punched in the face by me. She was very, very rude. I'm not getting it anymore. We had to watch the shaking baby syndrome video, which we were. Grayson was asleep in between me and Alan, and the remote that has the volume on for the TV was on my bed on a pillow, and she had turned it on, and she came back in and she goes, "Can you hear that?" And me and Alan both looked at her and said, "Yes, we can both hear it." She goes, "I don't think you can hear it." And she walks over, grabs the remote, and turns it up super duper loud, and almost wakes Grayson up. And it's like, are you serious? I just sat here and told you that I can hear it. Just because I'm a teen does not mean I'm gonna sit here and lie and not pay attention to the video. Like, I'm trying to get ready to go. I'm taking care of a baby. I can hear the freaking video in the background. I'm fine. Like, she needed to, like, mind her own business. And after that, she took forever to come in to check his car seat. She took forever to release us too. It's like, it was so annoying, so frustrating too, to the point where I was just ready to leave. I kept walking out there and asking her, "When are you going to come check us out? When are you coming to check his car seat?" and all this other stuff. And she kept telling me she'll be there in a few minutes, and then hours kept going by. She was just very, very rude overall. But other than her, I loved all of my other nurses. They were so sweet. There was one point where somebody had came to visit me that I didn't know. It was a fan. Some fan's parent came to give me something. So she sat with Grayson while I went out to go see him, and I'm pretty sure it was the same girl too who was checking me out that day, who was sitting in the lobby area where I went to go see him, and she told me, she goes, "You're supposed to be on bed rest." And I literally turned to her, I go, "I've been walking since the day after I had him. I'm pretty sure I know my limits, not you. I'm not having any scars. I didn't get any stitches, none of that, so I'm allowed to walk around and do as I please. I have not been told by any other nurses that I'm not allowed to walk around. I was given permission to be out here to talk to this person." So she was just a really rude person to me, and I'm pretty sure it was because of my age of having him. And if she's gonna act like that, I don't think she should really be a nurse, especially somebody who's having kids. She shouldn't be around kids if she's gonna have that type of like attitude towards a mother. So I don't know. But after that, we just basically went home and parented on our own, and here I am today, taking care of him all by myself. I love my little boy. Do you love me? You're ready for another nap. You ready for another nap? I can't win today. I'm sorry that the lighting's terrible. I'm not about to go get that ring light that was hanging on the edge, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe, and we will see you guys all in the next video. Bye, guys.